Best next action is something really clever that is built into XMPro. It can make suggestions on what your best next move is at any step of a process using a few different forms of analysis. Firstly, it can use historical analysis to review all the past decisions that have been made from this point. So what decision was made the last 50 times your organization was here? Right through to more complex history like what was the outcome of all of these decisions? Secondly, it can take into account the context of what you were doing there and then. So based on information already completed on a form, for example, it can suggest what to do next. Thirdly, it can look at all external influences and analyze data that you wouldn't have necessarily been aware of. For example, shipping or stock exchange issues of a particular supplier or the weather patterns at the moment. From there, it will guide you through the decision-making process and allow you to take the best next action. So you're not making the same mistakes twice. You're learning from all your workforce, current and past, and you're gaining knowledge from external sources you may not otherwise be aware of. Imagine as a new employee, the system helping you safely do the right next thing. It sounds like science fiction, so let's look at a few examples.
In this procurement example for best next action, we will look at a transaction where we are doing a OFAC check for supplier onboarding. Now, with the OFAC check, it will check for foreign individuals, and in this instance we have a category called vessel, and the information that was returned from the OFAC database actually found matches for entity and individual. Now there are three options. This is now directed to the financial manager for review and checking. The process can't continue from here. The compliance guardrails have kicked in, and in this instance we will look at one of the three options. So what Ted Orange will do in this instance is go through the best next action logic. Now this is a set of rules that are provided by the OFAC regulator, and in that one, if I say no, I'm not going to go through the detail, but if I say no on this one and I say no on that one and I say yes here, it'll actually advise that the best next action is a concession request. If I change that to no and I change it to yes over here, so it's a series of questions that you go through. In that instance, it will require you to, or the best next action that it will advise you on is to report this to the OFAC hotline. As you can see, it does not take over the actions, it merely advises what should be done. Or if I choose no over there, it will approve it for onboarding and the process can continue. This is a different example of a best next action or decision support, and in this instance this is a medical or life sciences solution, and here we have four options: refer to specialist, reject enrollment, and this is for cord blood banking. In this instance we will actually look at the information, the context of the information that was completed here, and also look at the previous history of similar transactions. Best next action here will actually give us a risk rating based on the information that was completed on the form, and looking then at similar circumstances. Over the last 1,000 transactions, only 9.73% of these were approved, and based on this information as we have it here, the best next action is actually to reject the enrollment, but it is still up to the individual to actually decide which of these ones to choose. So there might be contextual information that will lead them to actually refer this to a specialist, but under normal circumstances, if there are no additional information, you would most likely reject it.